Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2020 Nissan Rogue Sport, we're going to be showing you how to install etrailer.com trailer hitch receiver. But before we get into that, why don't you just take a minute, check this out, and make sure it's going to work for you. As the name implies, these Rogues are sporty, you know, and nice little SUVs, and putting a trailer hitch back here is going to open up your opportunities on what you're going to be able to do with it. So whether you're trying to use an accessory like a bike rack or a cargo carrier, or you're trying to pull a small trailer around, or a little bit of both, this hitch back here is going to allow you to do that. This is going to be a class 3 hitch. That's going to have the 2" by 2" receiver tube opening. Super common size, a lot of stuff will work with it. It's going to use the standard 5/8 pin and clip. Keep in mind, a pin and clip doesn't come included with the hitch, but if you need one, not really a big deal. You can grab it here at eTrailer, and a lot of times if you buy an accessory, they'll come with one anyway, so something to think about. And these safety chain openings are going to be loop style and big enough to allow us to use just about any size hook that our trailer might have on it. As far as the hitch's weight capacities go, it's going to have a 525-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. And that's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. So pretty high number. You should be able to use just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier, just to kind of give you an example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 3,500 pounds, and that's going to be the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. I do always like to suggest, though, it's never a bad idea just to grab your Nissan's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure that your Rogue can pull that much weight safely. Now we can grab a couple of measurements, and these will help you figure out what type of hitch mounted accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be about 13 inches. So if you plan on pulling a trailer, chances are pretty good you can use a ball mount that has a rise in the shank. And even if you're getting an accessory, probably wouldn't hurt either if you could find one that did sit up a little bit higher. You go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper. That's going to be about 5 inches, and you can use that measurement to help figure out that if any folding type accessories you might have can be stored upright without hitting the back of your Nissan. Compared to some of the other hitches available, there's really not any huge differences. Really the main one being the finish of the hitch. I'm kind of partial to this one. It has that matte black finish, and to me it just kind of blends in and matches the plastic a little bit better, but you know, that's just my opinion. Other than that, at the end of the day, really can't go wrong with it. It's going to allow you to do all those different types of things. As far as the installation goes, it's really not super complicated. It is a little tight under there, and some things are a little hard to get to, but as long as you take your time, you should be in pretty good shape. Speaking of that though, why don't we go ahead, pull into the garage, and put the hitch on together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here underneath the back of our Nissan. And we're going to be working on the passenger side. There's going to be a couple of components that we need to remove to make way for our hitch, one of them being the evap canister. Here's our evap canister, and it's held in place with two 10mm nuts. So one right there, and then there's another one that it's pretty much impossible to see on camera, but if you bend this down, you can feel it. It's facing upwards, so I took that one off already. When we drop this down, we could probably see the hole in the bracket where it was. But 10mm socket. We'll get the nut removed. And we should be able to kind of just drop this down. I'm just going to kind of pull it out of the way for now. That way it will give us a little more room to work. And we'll be able to get our tow hook removed. To get our tow hook off, there's going to be 6 18mm head bolts that we need to remove. They'll come in with our socket and get them off. So we'll have 3 on the side and 3 on the bottom. Go ahead and get this out of the way. Over here on the driver's side, we're going to need to enlarge a hole, which will be this one. So we need to make this just big enough to allow our hardware to be able to go up into the frame rail, because our hardware is going to have to kind of come through some of these access points here to bolt the hitch up. So I'm going to use a step bit for part of it, and then probably come back and use a grinding bit to open that up. A power tool definitely be the way to go, but you know, you can do this by hand if you have a file or something. Just could take you a little bit longer, but regardless, going to get this opened up and go from there. That's about how big the hole needs to be, just large enough to get the head of the bolt and the spacer block through there. Since we did expose some bare metal, I'm going to take a paint stick and just put a layer on it just to help protect against rust and corrosion. I'll also use some spray paint if that's what you got. It's better than nothing. But now we can get our hardware in place, and to do that, we're going to be using a fish wire. So we're going to get this bent down, run it through our attachment points to where it comes out of our enlargement hole. We're going to be using this hole and this one. Take the coiled end of your fish wire, push it up into the frame, and we're trying to get it to come out of our hole that we enlarged there. And pull it out like that. And you're going to take your carriage bolt and your spacer block, put that onto the coil end of the fish wire. Feed it back up until it drops down. And we'll do the same thing for this attachment point here. There's going to be a third attachment point as well over here on the driver's side that I figured I'd mention. Right here, it'll be that one. That's a threaded weld nut. And you're going to be using this bolt and washer that they give you in the kit. So once the hitch is up there, you want to thread that up in there, and you want the conical tooth washer, the teeth on it, to face up towards the hitch. Over here on the driver's side, you want to resecure your evap canister opposite way that you removed it. So just put it back up and put the 10mm nuts back on. But we're going to have 3 holes, 3 attachment points on the passenger side. So weld nut, and weld nut. And we're going to use the factory hardware that we took out that was originally holding on our tow hook. So once the hitch is up, this will just simply thread right back in place. Now with the next set of hands, you can get our hitch into position. So on the driver's side here, you'll have to put the pull wires through, and we'll probably get this one going up first to clear the exhaust pipe. The other side will kind of swing in. Once you get that hardware to drop through, you can remove your fish wires. And on those bolts, you're going to take a flange nut and you want to get at least one started hand tight on each side so the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the hardware. Once all the hardware is in place and hand tight, you can come back and snug it all down. Once everything is snug, we need to make sure and come back with a torque wrench and tighten it all down. It's the amount specified in the instructions. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the etrailer.com trailer hitch receiver on our 2020 Nissan Rogue Sport.